In this movie, we're going to explore the media browser, which is where SpeedGrade automatically starts every time you launch the app. Now, the media browser, you could think of it as kind of the central nervous system of SpeedGrade. It's what allows us access to our various attached hard drives or any folders that might be on our boot drive. And we always start out here on this desktop folder. And this desktop folder isn't necessarily just the stuff on the user desktop. It also shows you any attached hard drives you've got, so then you can navigate down through those to find any assets you need. So from this desktop folder, I could, of course, just click on this exercise file, which is on my user desktop, or I could use my arrow keys to navigate up and down through my folder directory. And I'm not seeing anything in here, but there are some subfolders. So if I use the right arrow, it's now going to reveal all of my subfolders. Now, if I want to see everything that's in each of these subfolders all at once, I can come up to this little pull-down menu, select Folder and Subtree, and now SpeedGrade's rummaging through all of these folders and all of their subfolders and showing me all the assets that I have available to me. And I can press the P key, and that'll make the grading panel disappear, the grading panel being the lower third part of the interface. And now most of this interface is given over to the browser, and then I've got my timeline still down here. Now, one of the cool things I can do is the size of these thumbnails you see here on these movie files. Let me just highlight the first one that I see. I can increase or decrease the size of them. So I can go really large on these, literally full screen. And now it's showing me the thumbnail full screen. And if I hover my mouse over it, I've got a scrubber. And I can scrub through this clip very, very quickly. If I want to get it back to the default size, I'm just going to double click where this little tick mark is. And now it's gotten me back to the default size. Notice on a lot of these project files, it's tough to read the full project file, or it could be tough to read the full name of a particular clip. So what I can do is switch this into list view. And in list view, now it's very easy for me to see full file names, as well as some additional details like time code, resolution, and date modified. All of these, I can sort them by clicking on the heading. So if I click on the time code range heading, it's sorting, and I'll click it again to reverse the sort order. And then I'll come out here to the thumbnails and notice it's honoring the sort order from the list view. So I can come back here and say, yeah, I don't like that sort. Let's sort by file name. And now if you have access to the exercise file, why don't you go ahead and double click on 0202mediabrowser.ircp. And we've just done that. We've loaded up this project file. There is no shots in here because I want to show you how we can go ahead and add shots from the media browser. I'm going to switch this back into our thumbnail view. I'm going to come down here to the Chris Jane CU1 music video. And I've got two different ways I could add this into the timeline. I can double click on the clip. Or if you like using interface widgets, you can click on the plus. Notice when I click on the plus, it's going to add it after whatever clip is highlighted in the timeline. In this case, it's only one clip, so it gets added to the end of the timeline, which it just did. Now, I know I have an R3D file in here, and so if I want to find that R3D file very quickly, I can come up here and filter, and now I can filter by R3D, and it's showing me the one R3D clip I've got. I'll plus that into the timeline. And then I know I just want to take a look at my QuickTime movies, so I'll come down here and select QuickTime movies, and I'll double-click this gradient. And so now I've got all four of these clips down here in the timeline. I'm getting ready to actually start working. So I'll press the P button again to bring back up the lower third panel here. And now to get into my viewer, I'm going to use the D shortcut that will swap me between my media browser and my viewer. And if I want to go back to my media browser, I can click the D button again. The interesting thing about this is it always brings you back to whichever tab you have active. In other words, I've got 3 tabs up here. So far, we've only looked here at the exercise file tab. But let's say I wanted to set up a tab here for my EDLs, for quick access to my EDLs. So I can come down here and highlight my EDL folder. Now it's showing me my EDLs. And then let's say I just want one sub-tab here that just has the project files associated with this training title. I'll click here on projects. And there you go. I've got them. And so now if I click on EDL, press the D button, we're in the viewer, press the D button again, and I'm back where I left off on EDLs. So there you go. A pretty in-depth look at how this media browser works, and you need to understand it because it is essential to getting footage into SpeedGrade. Additionally, when you're loading up footage for an EDL workflow, you're going to need to have that footage up here, viewable in the media browser for SpeedGrade to link back to it. And we'll be covering that later in this chapter.